If tomorrow is our great getting up morning, if tomorrow we have to meet the judgment day, Heavenly Father, we want you to let our folks know that we died facing the enemy. We want them to know that we went down standing up amongst those that are fighting against our oppression. We want them to know, Heavenly Father, that we died for freedom. Amen. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, y'all. I want y'all to put your hands together.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Make some noise.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another edition of the Dan Adams Show. I'm your host and Masters of Ceremonies, Dan Adams. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you will share this out to let everyone know, ladies and gentlemen, let everyone know that I may have been on a little hiatus, but the hiatus and the reasoning behind the hiatus is this. If you haven't heard, I have posted it on social media. About a couple of weeks ago, my dear wife, Mara, had a tripping incident at work and did a doozy on herself. She tripped over a box at work and rammed into a corner of a wall with her right shoulder, breaking her humerus bone, splintering it in 3 places, landing on her left shoulder, damaging that shoulder, and we still do not know to this day the full extent of the damage that has been done. Well, when the initial accident happened, she basically, and really till this point, even though she is gaining more motion in her left arm, but still does not have full range of motion in either arm. So it has been a struggle, but thank you for all those, especially her family members and friends who have stepped up and helped out the way that they have. I want to just thank you and God bless you all. And speaking of helping out and standing up in the ever going, I guess, race to finish first in regards to letting the world know about this so-called black condition that is holding down black people by white people. And the one particular individual who testified, spoke to, and laid the smackdown on members of Congress, one Miss Candace Owens. That's right, she deserves a round of applause for the spirited and meaningful, truthful, and like I said, downright smackdown to Congress, and letting those know and giving hope to those like myself who are of the same mindset, who represent themselves as individuals and not just a black person, who do not prescribe to the leftist, socialist, communist, Marxist, Democrat ideology, where most of the population in America who happens to be black votes Democrat. She was put on a national stage and she represented, and I want to thank her. And homegirl, continue doing what you're doing. I got a few topics I want to talk on, speak upon, and touch. The first one is in regards to President Trump and his, I guess if you want to call it, and the left and the mainstream media don't want to say it, but him being adjudicated, is that the word? not the right word, y'all. They saying not exonerated, but he was exonerated in regards to Russia collusion and obstruction. But they're still hanging on to that last thin thread of hope that somehow, some way, when the full redacted, ladies and gentlemen, because they wanted the whole report put out, published, put on blast for everyone to see, unredacted report, but no, that's not how it rolls. That's not how it's done, and they know it. Seeing that as one President Donald J. Trump, the rules do no longer apply. They want to get to their means by any means necessary, and that is removing Donald Trump from office. But that's not happening. Not now, ladies and gentlemen. So, for all those individuals on the left, for all the hate Trump, bash Trump, can't stand Trump crowd, good try, great and maximum effort, but you failed, you failed, you failed. So how about we go about the business of making America great again? How about we go about the business of trying to mend the fences? Try to, which is not going to happen, but I'm going to pray for it. Try to allow egos to diminish and come to an understanding. And even over the 8 years of the presidency of Barack Hussein Obama, even though I couldn't stand his political ideology and what he stood for and where he tried to take, not to say where he tried, where he ended up taking this country to in regards to the direction, fundamentally transforming America, which he did for the worse. So as you go about your day and as you make your rounds in regards to checking out what's going on in the news, as you make your rounds in what's going on in the world, for that matter, just say a prayer for the Democrats and the leftists in America, and around the world for that matter, who have been trying to, since day one, take down President Donald J. Trump. How about we start doing things that are for the betterment of the human race? How about that wow. Isn't that something? Just thinking about that? Doing what we can for the betterment of the human race. How about that? Instead of concentrating, instead of focusing, and instead of being a fanatic in regards to trying to remove President Donald J. Trump from office. How about we do that? How about we go down that route? Now, I'm going to camp on to the subject at hand in regards to President Donald J. Trump being exonerated of Russia collusion and obstruction. Let's talk about Attorney General, William Barr's testimony, and the Democrats just trying their best to somehow trip him up, which they never did, to somehow have it on the record of somehow Mueller not being completely truthful in his report, to somehow leaving a crack open, to somehow in some way eventually starting the process of impeachment. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, with some of the questions being asked by the Democrats in the House, they are trying to still lay down the framework, still lay down some type of framework that will lead them down the path of possibly, ladies and gentlemen, removing Donald J. Trump from the presidency of the United States of America. They don't have a chance in hell in regards to the Mueller report, as we know now. Excuse me. And the fact that they wanted to release the Mueller report unredacted, this shows their carelessness and their disregard for the law. And we'll talk about a law that was just passed here in Pittsburgh in a little bit. Segue. Teaser. But let's go and make a, I guess if you want to call it, declaration from yours truly. I only can speak for myself. Can't speak for you or for anyone else. But let's make a declaration to combat this nonsense at every turn. To let Congress know that they are not some type of an elite class of individuals. We, the American people, put their asses in the places that they're at right now. And we, the people, can easily remove, excuse me, their asses from the seats that they sit in right now. They need to be reminded of that, ladies and gentlemen, every single day. So for the individuals, whether you're on the left or the right, Republican or Democrat, we, the American people, put you where you are. And we can easily remove you from where you are. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have any water on me, so you have to bear with the coughing fit, the Hillary Clinton type coughing fit that I'm currently dealing with. Now, let's move on to the William Barr testimony for just a second. And let's talk about where it's going to lead. And there were so many things that could be extrapolated, pulled out from in regards to his testimony. But the one thing that is leading the Democrat meltdown is the fact that William Barr is going to lead an investigation on the spying of the Trump campaign. And he testified to the fact that the Trump campaign was spied upon, and he wants to find out, he wants to make sure, and from what, and the evidence that has been put forth by other individuals, hopefully will lead him down the path of indictments, orange jumpsuits, and jail time for individuals who started this farce, who started this complete and utter illegal spying upon of a political campaign, just because they wanted to make sure that they had some type of insurance policy. That's right, put that in quotes. Some type of insurance policy to make sure that Donald J. Trump did not become president of the United States. And if he did, laid a framework to remove him from the presidency of the United States of America. Now you're saying to yourself, wow. And as I've stated many times and will continue to state, the Sean Hannitys of the world and of the like, who always seem to think that indictments, handcuffs, orange jumpsuits, and jail time is coming down the pipe for individuals who may have been part of this scam, this farce, this hoax. But as I have stated on social media, and I believe I just stated it within the last few days, until I see indictments being handed down, until I see perps being walked into court in orange jumpsuits, and jail time being given to individuals, that is the only time I will believe that this type of, I guess if you want to call it, from the ultimate person looking in from the outside world, justice raining down, justice being upheld, and individuals being held accountable and responsible for their actions. But until that day happens, I am going to be the pessimist and the skeptic that I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you go about your day and you do the things that you do, just keep in mind that there are individuals within the federal government, within the alphabet agencies, guilty as hell in regards to assisting, starting, predicating, allowing, involving, and doing whatever they could do within the scope, I guess, of their responsibility to try and take down one Donald J. Trump. And they're getting away with it. They are absolutely getting away with it. So how does that make you feel, ladies and gentlemen, as you go about your day, as you go about your daily lives, and as you go about trying to raise a family, trying to be the best husbands and wives, trying to be the best husbands and fathers, trying to be the best employee, trying to be the best whatever, making sure that you stay above the fray, making sure that you stay in the scope of justice, making sure that you just, try to be the best person that you could possibly be. And individuals who are still walking around getting away with trying to take down a duly elected president. That kind of makes me upset as I even think about it. That makes me want to go to D.C. and round up every individual involved in this trying to take down a duly elected president. If somehow, some way, this would have been done to Barack Hussein Obama, I would be upset about that too. I may not like his political ideology, but ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow the federal government and the alphabet agencies to run amok, to think that they can do whatever the hell they want just because they don't like who was duly elected as president. Now, I'm going to go ahead and transition and segue to the next topic at hand. And it's about that law, ladies and gentlemen, that I said was passed here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm not even going to say it's a law. I'm not even going to say it's a bill. I'm going to say that it was an illegal action brought forth by the mayor, Bill Peduto, and his cronies, bringing forth some type of feel-good legislation. That's all it is. It's feel-good legislation in regards to guns and gun control and ultimately gun confiscation. Don't have the exact particulars in front of me. But basically what it does is ban the AR-15, certain gun magazines, and gun capacity in the city limits of Pittsburgh. So say, for instance, and I don't know the scope and the outline drawn in regards to the city limits of Pittsburgh, but if you so happen to be in the city limits of Pittsburgh and you may have the right to carry and conceal, your gun will be confiscated and taken away from you. But we all know, for those who have been covering and watching this story unfold in front of our eyes, that this is an illegal action. Mayor Bill Peduto and his cronies know it, but they did it anyway. And the lawsuits have already begun from the NRA and other gun advocates, I should say. They knew from the gate, from the start, from the jump, that this action was illegal, but yet they did it anyway. And like I said, this is nothing but feel-good legislation in response to the horrific tragedy that happened here in Pittsburgh 6 months ago at the Tree of Life Synagogue. As many have stated, the gun is an instrument. The gun in and of itself cannot and will never be able to do any harm or damage to anyone. But it is the evil and the sinful nature of man and woman who will pick up one said gun, and the evil and sinful nature that is within them. That's what ends up causing tragedy, harm, loss of life. It is not that inanimate object. And until society can somehow come to the realization, and it's not even a realization, ladies and gentlemen, the left just wants to control every aspect of your life. Because even if you ban guns, ladies and gentlemen, even if you somehow put the strictest gun control laws in effect, and there are many cities throughout this country that have some of the strictest gun laws on the record, a.k.a. Little Baghdad, a.k.a. Chicago, yet somehow criminals who are hell-bent on committing crime with guns still end up with guns in their hands and still end up taking lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to pray for those individuals on the left. Those within the Democrat Party need to pray for individuals within their own party who have this, once again, wanted to control aspect, wanted to control every aspect of your life, not just mine, but your life as well. You may be a Democrat and may be pro-Second Amendment. Ultimately, these individuals are trying to take away your right to own a gun, your right to protect yourself and your family. What part of the Second Amendment do they not understand? Let it be known and let it be stated and shouted from the mountaintops, as I always say. We need to make sure that we are at the front lines combating this nonsense. We need to be at the front lines making sure, putting people in place, putting Congress on notice. And that's if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you're not adhering to your constituents, if you're not adhering to the voice of the American people, then we have every right, and we should enact that right to pull you, snatch you, and just eradicate your ass out of Congress or the Senate and put an individual there who has the mindset that they are going to D.C. to speak for the American people. That is what Congress and the Senate is supposed to do. And as years, decades, and centuries have gone by, we have seen a shift from these individuals representing us to these individuals, representing themselves and their party and their ultimate goal of controlling you and everything that is dear to your hearts, everything that you hold dear to your heart, everything that you, and I'm talking about everyone in the scope of this constitutional republic that we live in, don't let these individuals, and like I said, I may be pinpointing and I may be focusing on the leftist Democrats, but there are some weak-kneed, jellyfish spine-having Republicans who need taken to task, who need to be put in their place, and let them know that we are not going to take their shenanigans and nonsense anymore. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your listening to this particular podcast for today. And I'm just asking for you to share alike. And if you want to get in contact with yours truly, here are the details, ladies and gentlemen, the deets, as they say in the hood. You can hit me up on social media at Dan Adams Show, all one word, at Dan Adams Show. The website, thepoliticalheat.com, all one word, The Political Heat, thepoliticalheat.com. And if you want to hit me up on the email path, it's danadams73@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And share, and share alike. Until next time, may God bless you and yours. May He keep you and your family safe. God bless. Peace.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
If I said it, I meant it. Bite my tongue for no one.